Hello, and welcome to this video where I'm talking to you again about some important things going on in the world and how my perspective is starting to change a little bit on things uh, regarding how bad the climate crisis is and the amount of greed going on in this world right now. Because I'm telling you, it's just out of control. It really is. And first off, I just want to apologize for something, right? I want to I mean, I have depression, I have anxiety disorder, and I know I've been painting things a little bleaker than they really are in the middle of the island. Or I really look. It's not to say these problems don't exist, and they are problems, and I'm going to continue to talk about them. But the middle of the island is not finished. All right. Yeah, we have some problems. All right. The problem is I'm a glass half empty kind of person. I'm a pessimist. It's hard to be an optimist, and I try. I try very hard to be positive, but it's very hard when you have this illness, when you have depression, and you have mental illness your whole life. It's very hard to be positive about anything. All right, but I've been too hard on the middle of the island. All right, I've been over dramatizing how bad things are. All right, I got to be honest with you. I think I have. I think I have. There are problems. I'm not going to say that there aren't problems that we're getting treated unfairly. I'm not saying that, but my reaction to it is too much. It went too far, and I'm sorry. Sorry to people in Mineola. I'm sorry to people in other middle of the island communities. The last thing I want to do is make a situation with problems and make it even worse. They did rank Nassau County the safest county in the country, so that says something. All right, look, Long Island is still a great place to live. There's a reason why so many people want to live here. All right, and the greed going on that I see from across the country, um, and here on Long Island too, just disgusts me. And I guess in this video I'm going to talk about a bunch of different things here. All right, a bunch of different topics. I'm trying to make this like a 20-minute video. All right, but I want to talk about first of all myself and my mental health. And I know I did the mental health update, and I was really negative in that mental health update that I did at the beginning of the month. Yes, it's true. All right, I can't stand my apartment. All right, but I shouldn't be taking it out on the whole town of Mineola. All right, all right. Yeah, it sucks having this view. All right, but I'm sure for the people who are living in other parts of Mineola, they're having a much better experience because they're living in a better building. All right. Yeah, there's no nightlife here. But you know what? Not everywhere can have nightlife. Why do I need nightlife? That's not the issue. The issue is I'm lonely. That's the issue. I'm walking around a busy town isn't going to fix the loneliness when I need to find somebody in my life. This is a difficult subject for me to talk about because I've been looking for a woman for a while, I'm very shy. I have a lot of I don't really try very much to meet people, all right? Bars are not my thing. That's the funny thing. Bars are not my thing. All right? They're not my thing at all. I'm trying to find a down to earth woman, all right? Those aren't the kind of women you're going to find at a bar, all right? And generally the women I see on the South Shore, they're not my type at all. All right? Uh, they're not my type at all. Yeah, they may be physically attractive, but their personality with that snobby way they talk, they're so preppy. It's not. It's not. It turns me off. It's not the kind of personality is extremely important when you're looking for somebody. All right, and I find that the women in my area, in the middle of the island, tend to be. I can relate to them more. All right, They don't tend to be acting that way. All right. So all this time I've been trying to just complaining about all these things, but it's not going to do a damn thing to solve my loneliness. And I have to do more to meet people. Somewhere there's a woman out for me. So I'm looking. I want a wife. I want to get married. I don't want to be single. Some guys are okay with being single their whole life. I'm not one of them. All right. I'm not one of them at all. All right. So yeah, that explains my state of mind and how my state of mind is starting to change a little bit, or maybe a lot, as to what I need to focus on. All right. Yes, the middle of the island is being treated unfairly. Yes, we have problems dumped here. That doesn't take away any of that. While the South Shore gets to sit pretty in their little preppy little enclaves, doesn't change any of that. But I think I got to look at it like God put me here for a purpose, and that's to speak up for what's wrong in the middle of the island. Speak up against greed. Speak up against corruption. And of course, to save the pine barrens is the most important thing. So, my perspective on things have changed, and there are a whole bunch of things going on in the world now that I'm going to talk about. Starting with the climate crisis. Pick up my phone here. Well, let me pick it up. I'll show you my computer screen here. We have all the wildfires going on there in Northwest Territories, and an article about more records being broken in Northwest Territories. We are in a climate crisis, and yet Wall Street, they're in their own little world. It infuriates me. I mean, we are in a recession. We have been since 2020. We're in a crisis. This world is in a crisis. There's nothing to celebrate. We have to prepare for things getting much worse in this world right now. But you have a bunch of greedy rich people out there that they're in their own little world. And that's typical of what you're going to see, in these little enclaves. They think that they're going to be completely insulated. Sandy is a distant memory. The next one's going to be a lot bigger than Sandy. And the South Shore is going to be in a world of hurt when that hits. All right? Yes, we have to, fix our infrastructure. We have to prepare. We have to prepare. We have to put a lot of our power lines underground. We have to fix our drainage systems. We have to maybe build seawalls and build up our beaches. But we must prepare because things are going to get a lot worse. Things are going to get a lot worse. There's nothing to celebrate, nothing at all to celebrate. Talk about, you want to stimulate the economy. We need to rethink the way everything is in this country right now. All right? We need to get people away from personal vehicles and toward public transportation. We need to replace all these domestic airlines with high-speed rail. We need to do all these things. All right? I don't hear... The right is going to take us back. That's for sure. And that's the other thing about the South Shore I can't stand. Trump. They're in love with the guy down there. And look, I don't want any problems with those people because I go to the South Shore, all right? I make peace with them, but I'm never going to agree with them. And I don't think it's right that they kind of don't like me filming them, all right? I have every right to film them, right? They kind of intimidated me not to, and I kind of gave in, and I'm going to admit that, all right? But I have to go there, and I have to deal with it. So I don't want to deal with any problems with these people. All right? So they can think the way they want to think. That's their prerogative. That's the way they are on the South Shore. They're preppy, they're arrogant, they're in their own world. They drink the orange man juice. They drink it every day. Whereas in the North Shore, in the middle of the island, they tend not to drink as much of that orange man juice. A lot of people don't drink orange man juice, and good for them. All right? So, you want to be ignorant? That's fine. Reality is going to come and bite you in the ass in a big way as the climate crisis gets worse. People just don't want to really, they don't want to realize what's happening, of course. They don't want to realize it. They don't see what's going on. They don't see the big picture. They're just in their own little preppy little worlds. Let's just talk, oh, let's focus on the South Shore. It's going to be washed away in 10, 20 years, or maybe even less. Who knows? Because this is going to ramp up big time. All right, it's going to ramp up big time. So the other thing that I want to talk about is the state of humanity these days. Now, if you've been following things here on YouTube, and it's been all over YouTube, and there's a very popular YouTuber, probably one of the most popular ones out there, called MrBeast. And yeah, I'm going to talk about this because he is very typical of the way rich people think. And actually, he reminds me almost of a younger version of Donald Trump. He actually reminds me of one of his sons. Using his money to get his way, to be above the law, and to violate people's rights. I shared a video a while ago, yesterday, of, his name is Jake Wedler. He was actually tortured by MrBeast. Yeah, tortured. MrBeast has violated many laws, and yet he is not in prison, just like Donald Trump has violated many laws. Somehow, Donald Trump is not in prison. How is that? And then the people will be like, oh, let's say the thing that Trump is like, oh, he wasn't behind the insurrection. It was the FBI. Where are you getting your facts from? Some fucking right wing site? That's not facts. But again, these people are delusional. I have every right to criticize them, and I will criticize them. God help us if Donald Trump ever becomes the president again. He cannot become the president again. I think we got a strong team with Kamala Harris and, what's the other guy's name? Guy from Minnesota, Walz. I think, Walz is a centrist too, so you're not even going to be able to criticize him on that. Although the right's already spreading lies about him because that's what they do. The more and more time goes by, the more and more I despise the right. I despise the Republicans. They're not really Republicans, they're Trumpicans, all right? Look, they have their right to say what they want, but they're arrogant. They believe every single one of his lies. And, this is the way they are. They're like, Trump is a convicted felon, all right? Oh, they'll just say it was rigged. How is a jury rigged? Oh, they'll come up with some excuse. They always do. That's just the thing. All right, getting back to MrBeast. How is this man not being investigated by the police right now or the FBI? How is this man not being investigated for the human rights abuses he's done? And probable sexual crimes as well. Because he's rich and he can get away with it. And he uses his money to torture people and intimidate people. They'll say, oh, well, giving to charity or helping people. He's just doing it for his own personal gain. Donald Trump has done the same damn things. He's just like a young Donald Trump. Probably a Trump supporter, too. I bet he is. I bet he is. So, what's wrong with this world that it's come to this? That you can literally set up your own little game shows and lotteries against the law and get away with it. It's just like how Donald Trump has gotten away with it. He uses the Supreme Court to get his way. Got to do something about that too, right? Either way, we're screwed. You can decide how screwed you want to be. You want to vote for Donald Trump and be very screwed, or you want to vote for Kamala Harris and maybe have a chance at maybe lessening some of the impacts of the coming storms and crises we're going to deal with as the climate crisis continues to spill out of control. That's up to the people of this country, and I really hope they make the right decision. Unfortunately, we have a lot of uneducated people on Long Island, particularly on the South Shore, that just love that orange man juice. They drink it every day, and they just don't want to see it. And look, as for myself, I kind of have to separate myself from them. All right, yeah, they may get their little They may seem to get everything. Um, but what they lack is morals. What they lack is compassion. That is a big thing. That's one of the most important things. Where they can say they have compassion and they're going to vote for somebody who has no compassion at all. I don't understand it. I just don't. I don't go on and on about Trump. Get used to it because we have an election this year. And I'm going to keep talking about the fact that I'm going to be voting for Kamala Harris. And I urge you to do that as well, right? Because the stake of this country, the fate of this country is at stake. You want to go into a dictatorship? You want to go into a civil war? You want to go and see more greed? More rich people violating the laws? Well, Donald Trump's your man then. There are things I don't agree with that the left has. Certainly here in New York, bail reform, illegal immigration, those things. But you can't really blame Kamala Harris for that. People are like, oh, you can tie her to the border crisis and all that other stuff. No, not really. All right, first of all, the border crisis was created by Republicans who refused to fund the border bill. All right. The Border Patrol was running out of money, and the Republicans, including Donald Trump, said, we don't want that bill to pass. Because then they wouldn't have that issue to put against Biden or Harris. All right. Harris is a prosecutor. All right. And she is going to absolutely knock Donald Trump out in that debate. Trump's scared now. He has to debate her. He's going to try to, because he sees he's slipping in the polls. Yeah, the fat bastard, the orange monster, is slipping in the polls somehow. Yeah, good. Hopefully he keeps going down. He'll claim it will always spread his lies and all that other stuff. We need a lot more love in this world right now. I'm tired of seeing people who hate. I'm tired of being around people who hate. We have way too many of them here on Long Island. They say they don't hate, but they do. They do. They fly Confederate flags. I'm not going to show you any of that. You've seen it in the past. And look, I get it. Joe Biden wasn't a great president, but to say a curse word and curse him out and have absolutely no respect for him is just wrong. All right, but that's the way these people are. And now I may anger them making this video. But you got your way. I'm not going to make any more videos showing you. But I'm still not going to support what you're doing. All right? I'm never going to support what you're doing. Yeah, it's your right to say it, but I'm never going to agree with it. And I know you get a lot of support on the South Shore because you have a lot of the people in their own little world there. They're in their own world. One time reality is going to come slamming into them. And then they're going to be crying, oh, well, it's too late. It's too late. So I got to kind of shift my focus a little bit on things and change my perspective a little bit here. All right? Because we need to do a lot more. This world is full of hate, full of bigotry, and it's got to stop. Because humanity is going to be facing a serious crisis. And I don't want to see humanity. Some people have made videos saying they would like to see humanity wiped off the face of this earth. I don't want to see that. Humanity's done a lot of harm, sure, but humanity has also done good. And, and I think that we just have to weed out the evil. We have to stomp out the hate, stand up to the bullies, put the criminals where they belong, in jail. Criminals like Donald Trump. And then J.D. Vance, what a phony he is. I'm going to have friends who are going to strongly disagree with what I'm saying here in this video. The good thing is we can respectively disagree on this. All right? But with this election coming up, I have to change my perspective on the way things are in my life right now. If I want to be happier, then I need to find someone in my life. And I need to be around people who, so far, I haven't found that group yet here on Long Island of like-minded people. I haven't found it yet. I'm going to keep looking. All right? I'm going to keep looking. Certainly, it's probably not going to happen for the South Shore. I'm not going to find those kind of people there. You know, they're in their own, preppy little world that they will never understand what people like me ever go through. And they're just going to say, well, you can't live with us. We only want to be with our own kind. We keep out housing programs. And somebody later commented that I'm going to address here that said, well, if we allow that kind of housing in, then the neighborhood will go down. Oh, of course, that is such a freaking lie. Such a freaking lie. It's funny how they can have that kind of housing in towns in New Jersey and even in Westchester to some extent, and you don't see neighborhood suffering. So that's a lie right there. All right, it's a lie. They just, they're very narrow-minded, very arrogant people, and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of thumbs down on this video. But I'm hoping you give it a thumbs up. So we got to stand up against these people. All right, we got a choice in this country to choose between hate or hope. All right, so let's pick hope. All right. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. Thank you for watching. And take it easy. Have a good night.